Hey guys, Anton from Neliti here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a repository for your institution using Neliti. So Neliti is a very powerful repository tool. It's used by a lot of research institutions to create and manage their repositories, to publish and host their content, and also to distribute their content so they can attain the highest possible readership, citations, and impact for their work. We're used by all sorts of different research institutions, from universities and other higher education institutions to research institutes like laboratories or think tanks, market research companies, book publishers, even schools to host and publish their student theses. So if you're watching this video, you're probably from one of the above types of institutions and you're looking to create a repository. So let's get to it. The first thing we're going to need to do is to create an institutional account on Neliti. And then the second thing is, of course, to create a repository. But let me show you how to create an institutional account first. So you're going to want to go to neliti.com, the neliti.com homepage, and then click Sign in the top right here. This will take you to the Neliti dashboard. Okay. Now, the Neliti dashboard, you can also access directly by simply typing neliti.com/dashboard. The first thing we're going to need to do is to register an institutional account. So let's do that. Let's click Register, or here. We do not want to create a personal account. We are going to want to create an institutional account. An institutional account is for universities, publishers, and other research institutions to administer and create their repositories. Click Next. Now, in today's example, we're going to be creating a repository for, let's say, Harvard University. And so let's just use an example email, repositoryharvard@harvard.edu. Okay, click Next. The next thing I'm going to need to do is to fill in a little bit of information about the institution that manages the repository. So in this case, it is, of course, Harvard University. We could say Anton Nelitian. Country is, of course, United States. That's where Harvard University is. And then we can simply put in a password, just like so. And click tick, and then click Complete Institutional Account Registration. You will receive an email in your inbox, which you can approve. And I'm going to go back to that inbox and then approve that email, and I'll show you how things look from there. Okay, so I've gone into my inbox and I've clicked the verification link, and now I will see a page like this, and I can simply go back to the sign in and sign in using the credentials that I signed up with. So we'll go to the sign in page and we'll sign in using the credentials that I just signed up with. Now, once I click sign in, I will see a page like this. Okay, there are a few things. Firstly, you can see the institutional account up here, and you can manage all of your account settings. In addition to your institutional account, you will also now have a personal account. Personal accounts cannot create repositories. You need an institutional account to do that. But most importantly, you will see this guy, and he's in a mess because he doesn't have any repositories, journals, or conferences to manage. And so, of course, we're going to need to click the button below to create one. Now, if you already have one and you're wanting to create a second one, you can, of course, just click Create up here and create a new repository there. So let's create one. Of course, the purpose of this video is to show you how to create a repository. You can also use Neliti to create academic journals or academic conferences. But for the purpose of this video, the type of site we're wanting to create is a repository. Now, there are three ways you can go about creating a repository. The first is the simplest, and that is to create a new repository. The second is if you are aware that your repository is currently already indexed in the Neliti database, but it's unmanaged and it's unclaimed by anyone, you can claim it. So you can click there. And the second option, which is also very popular, is if you have an existing repository for your institution elsewhere that already uses an existing repository software, for example, ePrints or DSpace or Digital Commons, and you've decided that you would rather use Neliti instead. So this is a very common option as well, and we will help you migrate your repository from your existing software, including all of its content, over to Neliti. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to be showing you how to create a new repository. So let's click this button here. The institution that we're managing the repository under is, of course, Harvard University, is the institutional account that I just created. Now, the first step is to figure out if our institutional repository is already on Neliti. And so for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be typing Harvard University. If it is already on Neliti, we want to claim the existing repository rather than create a new one. Now, Harvard's not coming up in the search results, and I can't see it anywhere down here. So it seems as though we're going to need to create a new one. However, let's say hypothetically, we are from, say, the University of Indonesia. We can see here that there is an existing repository for the University of Indonesia. And I'm going to apply to claim this repository. And I'll just take you through how that looks just for the next 30 seconds. So apply to claim it. The first thing it's going to advise us is the email that's associated with that repository already. If you have access to this email, you can simply send a verification to it. And once you verify that you do own the email, you will automatically be assigned ownership over the repository. If you don't have access to that email, you simply click, I don't have access to this email. And our team will get in touch with you and run through some basic verification checks just to make sure that you are indeed the owner of that repository and that you are not falsely claiming it. However, let's go back here and let's say that you couldn't find your repository existing in the Neliti database already. What we need to do is we need to scroll down and click, if your repository is not on Neliti, please press the button below. And we're going to proceed with creating our repository. So let's do that. It's going to ask for a bunch of information about the repository. So you can choose what language your metadata is in. In the case of Harvard, it's in America, so English is, of course, the best language to choose. The institution name is, of course, Harvard University. The institution abbreviation, I don't think Harvard really has an abbreviation, but you can see in the placeholders here, for example, if you're from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, you can just write MIT, or University of Western Australia would be UWA. Institution's main website, of course, would be harvard.edu, and then put in a nice description, be as descriptive as possible. There we go. Click next. Field of study. Harvard is a big university and they have lots of different departments, and we can only choose up to 5 fields of study. So what I'm going to do here instead is select multidisciplinary. However, if you're from a specific type of institution, let's say you're from a molecular biology laboratory, then you could simply select molecular biology and maybe life and biological sciences. If you're from a think tank, then you can select all the different politics and international relations, public policy, etc. For the case of Harvard, we're going to select multidisciplinary. Type of institution. There are a few different types of institutions that use Neliti. Harvard is, of course, a university, so let's select that. Institution's logo, I'm going to upload the Harvard logo. Street name and address, let's just say 1 Harvard Street. City, Boston, of course. State, Massachusetts. Country is the United States of America. And I don't know what Harvard's postcode is, so let's hope that's right. Agree to the terms of service, and then click next. Congratulations. You have now created a repository for Harvard University, and I'm now going to go to the repository's homepage to manage it. Here we go. So your repository homepage is just a nice overview of some help videos to help you learn how to use Neliti and its various functionality. First and foremost, what we can do is we can click View Site, and what we will see is a beautiful new repository that has been created for Harvard University. It's looking very empty and lonely right now, but of course it'll start to populate once we add our publications. The next big feature of Neliti is the domain name. So as you can see here, the repository is hosted at a subfolder of neliti.com. So it's neliti.com/Harvard-University-1. However, we can also add a custom domain name to our repository using in the repository settings, simply click domain. And we could connect a domain, for example, repository.harvard.edu or harvardrepository.com, or whatever you like. It can be a main domain or a subdomain of your existing website. The most important functionality of repositories, of course, is to manage and upload all of your publications and your content. That can be done in the content section here in publications. I can add a new publication and add all of its metadata and start to populate the repository with various content. My favorite repository, actually I shouldn't be declaring which repository is my favorite. I'm not supposed to be choosing favorites, but one of the repositories I like is this repository here by the Center for Indonesian Policy Studies. As you can see, they've taken the effort to put the repository on a custom domain, and they've uploaded lots and lots and lots of different content on their repository, all of which can be viewed and read and downloaded by anyone looking for that information. Other important features of your repository, of course, are to assign DOIs to all of your articles. There will be different help videos on our YouTube channel about how to do that. Fill in information for your pages, for example, about page, your content page, your contact page, sorry. So anyone visiting your repository can find out more information about it. Of course, you can view analytics about your publications, so how many views they're getting, how many downloads they're getting, how many citations they're getting. That way you can track the impact of them, and so on and so forth. And so as you can start to appreciate, now that you've got a repository, you can explore the full functionality that Neliti has to offer. So good luck in creating your repository. Now, if you do so happen to have any questions at all, you can always email us at hello@neliti.com with any troubles that you're facing in creating your repository, or any questions you have, any features you would like to request, even any bugs you would like to report, anything like that, and we'll be sure to attend to you and make your repository experience as carefree as possible. So good luck creating and managing your repository, and bye for now.